Okay. Loxjie. Loxjie? I don't know. You don't get to tell me how to say it because you spelled funny name. Loxjie. Where's my? I need a blue. There. This is how I function in circles. Anyway, I did the balanced tube amp, the sub $100 balanced Loxjie hybrid tube amp. That I plugged balance into it, and I plugged balance into it, and I went, fuck. I'm like, why is this so good? And I released that to patrons, and then this company somehow saw the patron post, or they must have been getting a bunch of orders from a Patreon website. And then they messaged me and said, hey, did you publish a video about this thing? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, do you want other things? And I'm like, yes. So they picked the P20, and they threw it in my mailbox. Now, let me tell you what this is. Because it's when you see it and it's like, oh, it's a DAC. Let's see what we got in the back. Power, USB input, fiber optic input, coaxial input, RCA outputs, 1/4-inch headphone output, volume knob, remote control. Oh, it's a headphone amp. No. This is a very, 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 it's not cheap. This is over $250. It's not cheap. Check the description. This is a very good, like, I forget the, look, some people are insane and love to know about all these, like, it uses AKM's flagship DAC, the AK4497, which has ultra-high signal-to-noise ratios and ultra-low distortion and supports DSD. This can support with USB 32-bit, 768 kilohertz. I don't care. That's stuff that that's beyond me, all right? I love to hear Weird Al in 32-bit 768 DSD. It comes to life. No, I can't. I'm just laughing at that because that's legit me laughing at it. But, so it has, like, the guts of a fucking high-end DAC. It's not balanced, which doesn't make sense because they sell a balanced tube amp. They literally sell 3 items right now, this company, this brand name. I'm not going to say if I think they're associated with anyone else, but let's just say this Loxjie has a little speaker amp that looks like a triangle. They have the tube amp that I absolutely adore, and they have this. And the way I'm going to be able to tell you to buy this is not because it's a headphone amp, because it's an okay headphone amp. Just okay. What you're buying with this is the DAC, the beauty, and the remote control. Because this is probably going to go in your living room and not on your desk. If this had a... Because here's the... Look. The Arcal Pro is here. Look at Shelly Labs headphone amp. And there's a JDS Labs Atom. And I took the outputs of this DAC, and I ran them to... First to Shelly Pro. Actually, first thing I did was I pulled out of this, Giggity, and plugged into my own X1S. Because they're roughly around the same price range. Let me show you. This thing, right now, time of this recording, $270. No reviews on it. All right? I'll be the first one to write a review, obviously. X1S, sitting pretty at $231. Linked in the description, by the way. So, that and this. Only difference between that and this is that has analog input and no remote control. Then a little bit more than this, $299, you're looking at the Fostex HPA3, which is like my fucking and that has a button to switch input and output, and we have to do it on the remote for this. And so those are like 2 options of similar things. Like I could think of one other, two other. You're looking for a DAC with a remote control? What about the SU8? What about the SMSL SU8? It's actually a little bit cheaper than this, and it's balanced, and it sounds amazing. Well, this isn't balanced, but it still sounds amazing. And this comes with a head. Here's the thing. The headphone amp in it is absolutely acceptable. If you've had nothing up to this point, and you get this, you plug your headphones into it, I've got 909s here, I've got the Aeolus, god damn it. I got the Aeolus here, and I could put it in here and I could listen to it, and I'm absolutely fine with that. However, I'm Zeos Pantera. I'm paid to sit here all day and nitpick every little fucking thing in the world. And it's like, oh, I wonder. So what they talk about in that on the Amazon page is about the DAC. The DAC. Oh my God, the DAC. So good. The DAC. So how do you test that? Because they give you the headphone amplifier up here somewhere, and I plug in. I'm like, oh, it doesn't really. It's not grasping me. There's not extra wide. It's not doing the things I like. So you plug the DAC into another headphone amp, like I did, and I went, oh yeah, the DAC in this is exceptionally good. The headphone amp, mediocre at best, but you get one. So the way I see this working out in the future. First of all, look. First, can I just say color? Can I just say the color red? It also is available in blue. Boy, it's blue. Comes with a decent remote control. Comes with a very, very, very similar screen to like the SU8 and what the SU8 and the SMSL things had. Just very, very fucking similar. Very similar. It has a menu. Hit this. It's got 5 pages. Input, and you can choose USB, optical, or coaxial. What it needs to really put it over the top is Bluetooth. Because I'm visualizing this in your living room. Can you see it? Can you see this red box? This beautiful fucking red. Let's take this out of it. Just make it look even like Nietzsche. Just this beautiful box. And you see it just sitting on your white IKEA cabinet. And just like, oh, it's framed beautifully. And it's so clean. And the edges curve a little bit on the end of the machined aluminum. So, first page is input. I have it on optical. I don't deal with USB drivers. And nothing really outputs coaxial digital. Tell me in the comments, please, what you have that you know is coaxial digital output. Because I don't know what it is. Press it again. Page 2. Here's where you choose line out or headphone out. You have to, it doesn't do both. Which is good that you could choose it. The problem is, on the unit itself, you literally have to go into the menu, go into it again, and then choose. The remote control will swap it, though. I'll talk about the remote in total later. Third page is the filter settings for the DAC. Any good DAC needs a filter setting. Sharp roll-off, slow roll-off, SD sharp, SD slow, super slow, shot delay, which I think is supposed to be short, and then so that's it, only shot delay. So I'm going to put it to super slow, because that's what I am. Sometimes I talk like this. Now, number 4 is interesting. Number 4 is sound, which, if you recall my SU8, it had 9 different like presets that weren't EQs. They were like crystal and what was the other one? Warm or a tube. It was like it really fucked with the sound in a way that it wasn't an EQ, but I liked it. You could literally find what flavor works with your gear. It was great. Now this does a similar thing, only it's called sound, and you have 4 choices. Default, which is, I'm assuming, flat. Current max, current mid, and current min. So let those percolate in your brain a little bit. Current max, current mid, current min. What do you think those mean? Because I figured it out. I didn't look it up. I didn't like download the manual. What do you think those mean? Wrong. Forget the word current. That's just, I don't know. That's current events, current affairs, current in the river. I don't know. Min, mid, max. We know what mid could mean. Mid could mean mid-range, and mid does mean mid-range. Basically what that is a 3-way EQ. Mid bumps the mids, max bumps the highs, and min bumps the low end. I'm not joking. That's all I could tell from those 3 things. And we'll get to the remote again in a second, and there's an EQ button, and it doesn't swap between those. But it's an interesting little, like, I guess, okay. So, I guess okay. I guess okay. And the last one, 505, is brightness, where you could just set the brightness on the display or have it shut off. There's another unit with no power LED. Very similar to what the SU series from the SU and the whatever SML stuff is doing. No power button, no power light, no power indicator. Actually, which matches the atoms perfectly. So, those are your choices. Now, the volume goes from 0 to 40 for whatever reason. And around 20 is nice. RCA cables out. The atoms support RCA cables. They sound fucking great. I pulled them off the wall. Look at the hole in my wall. I was like, atoms. Pull the atoms off. Because I got the A5Xs in the yard sale, and I hadn't heard these in like a month and 2 months, 2.5 months, a while. And I did not make the wrong decision by putting the other atoms in the yard sale. And I have them set to 0 on the back, not plus 18 on the Evite. So, put this in your living room, fiber optic in from your TV, fiber optic in from your home theater PC, whatever you got. Fiber optic into it. Strictly stereo, obviously, no surround sound. You look at it, you go, oh. You can hook up to the headphone amp, which when you hit, here's the remote. Here's the remote. Power button. Nice, well indicated. Display will cycle through the brightness options, which if you're using this in the living room, that screen is real fucking tiny. Always tiny. You gotta get one of those. I would love to see this happen. Please, someone who's crazy, do this for me. The Fresnel lenses, the big like magnifying plates. I'd love to see one sitting in front of it, like stacked, 3 or 4 of them in front, so that you could read that screen like this. Just fucking super steampunk. So display will change the brightness, which actually you don't need to see it, because it's just going to be brighter or dimmer when you do that. Mute, surprisingly enough, mutes it. And there's a little bit of a, little pop when you mute it. I don't mind that, that's fine. Up, down, left, right, center. Center gets you into the menu. You can navigate the menu and adjust the settings in the menu with this. That's all this does. It doesn't do volume. Nothing happens unless you hit that center button. Now, these 3 buttons. EQ, input, and mode. EQ, which should go through those 4 options of default, current min, mid, and max, doesn't do shit. So, missed opportunity. Input, can you guess? No signal on USB, no signal on coaxial, signal on optical, done. Mode, now this is the one that's important, because if you do get this for your desk, and you want to switch between your headphones, wait. They're a little low. It defaults to 20 volume, by the way, when you switch back and forth. It goes to half volume, which not quite enough to power Aeolus. 30 is, though. 30 is nice. 30 is a nice... And I'm listening to it, and it's like... It's definitely powering the headphones. It doesn't have a power issue. There's just some... I don't feel like I'm wearing $1,000 fucking game-changing headphones right now. And when I plug it into any of those, or the Liquid Spark, or any other thing, I definitely can be like, ugh. So, the headphone amp on this is sort of like an afterthought. We're not gonna... That's why I'm not focusing on it. Because if it was, this would be a bad review for this unit. However, we're more interested in this. Because... And I'm with a level up. So, mode switches between headphone and speaker, so that's fine. Then you have 2 up and downs down here. Level up and down, and volume up and down. Now, you're the manufacturer of this unit. Which one of those do you think controls it? Did you say volume? No, you haven't been watching Z reviews long enough. You said level, and you are correct. So, even though there's a volume knob here, don't do shit, Captain. Don't do shit, Captain. Level adjusts the level. So if I play the music, I can lower it. And it's a pretty fast volume. There's only 40 numbers it's jumping through. And I can mute it. So, couple quirks. Level works and not volume. That means you have a flirt, you get to use that, and the arrows for controls, unless you're in the menu, and then you're going to use that. You can go through the menu, obviously, with the actual scroll wheel if you don't want to use the remote. Power off. There's no popping, there's no sound, it's just off and on. I believe it comes on 20, let's see. No, it remembered the last volume and unmuted it. Let me lower let me put that level down. Putting that level down. Yeah, this is specifically for, you want to buy powered monitors that don't have a volume control and don't come with their own remote. You want a very good DAC. And if I could judge it on the atom that it's a good DAC, it's a good DAC. So you get all the top of the line 768 megahertz DSD, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm using fiber optic. All of that will be great. But you're basically getting this to get a remote control DAC. Because there's only a handful, a small handful. There's the SU8, which I still recommend. It will link in the description. There's this now, which I will recommend because it sounds good. And come on, let's face it, it's fucking gorgeous. And there's the Army ADI2, which is a remote controlled DAC with a headphone out that happens to have balanced out also. But that's $1,100 in German. So that's sort of a different category. So, what have we learned? Loxjie is new. I'm going to link their triangular amp in the description. And I don't mean it's like a... Do I have to show it? I want you guys to actually go experience this amp, like, completely on your own. There it is. All right? When I say it's a fucking triangle, it's a fucking triangle. Like who? Like who? Was it a bet? Did someone lose a bet? Look at it. Look, there's the RCAs and it's $69.99, and I somehow feel like it was made on a bet. It's a triangle, but it's just a power amp. It's just a power amp. It's a Class D audiophile level. How many watts per channel? I don't know. So this company's new, brand new, and they're doing their thing, and this is their flagship thing, and God bless them. It sounds great. The DAC sounds great. The DAC has a remote. It's got its quirks. It's fine. The headphone out is acceptable. I will not pimp that any more than that. There's an acceptable headphone out. If you're just casually using, if you've got headphones worth less than $200, you're fine. You put on something like this, take those beautiful RCA outputs and put them into a 789 or Atom or anything else, or get the Own instead, or get the Fostex instead. But yeah, no, this is, I like the company. They got spunk. They got color. You want to win me over? Make your shit fucking not black. Hey RME, make a purple version. Because right now you're on my shit list being black. Wait, that sounds racist. Here you go, purple. Purple, look. Shelly Labs understands that there needs to be some life. This is music for fuck's sake. We're not here at a funeral. Is everybody that just at a funeral when they're designing these things? Come on, spark it up. Put some anime wallpapers on, smile a little bit. We're here to listen to shit like Tape 5. Oh, I fucking love these.
Suitcase number 347.
And I would play that out and shut off the camera, but I want to tell you to keep an eye out, because this will probably end up in the yard sale, which happens on my Patreon. If you don't know what my Patreon does, it, well, buys things that companies don't sell me. And then when I'm done with them, from the 1st to the 10th, I sell them for whatever bid. 0 bid. It's this completely blind, silent auction with no minimums. And if you win this, if you bid $48.21, I ship it to you for free if you're in the United States. There's a whole process. You can check it out there. And if you're international, if you're in Indochina and you want this back, because it's from China, you pay half shipping. So there's that. There's a $10 Patreon tier where I answer all your questions, and you get to hang out with other people that have paid that much to talk to me all day. And it is all day. And pasta's in there also. And you get to see these reviews early. Slightly early now. It used to be weeks in advance, but moving to a daily schedule has fucked that up. So, links in the description. Thank you. That wallpaper in the description. Thank you. Link to the Patreon in the upper right in the description. Thank you. And we're going to another song. Speaking of Weird Al,